Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to tap into your power to manifest the happiness, success, and fulfillment that you desire. I am your host, Niajae, the Upper Limit Coach. I am here to dismantle your limiting beliefs and remove the blocks so you can confidently live your life's purpose, because life is meant to be abundant. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. Today I am joined by the amazing Jillian Schleger, and we're going to let her tell us what she does. But before we get into that, Jillian, what does abundance mean to you?
Abundance to me means home state. This is our natural state. We should be feeling abundant all the time.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So tell us about you. I'm so fascinated with everything that you do. So tell the listeners what it is that you do.
All right. Well, first, thank you so much for having me on your show. This is thrilling to me. I love your show.
Thank you.
And so what I do is a process called Kinetic Divination. It's a healing system that I devised by combining 8 healing modalities together. So I was a little sick of not having and seeing other people not having options available to them. We felt stuck, we felt overwhelmed, we felt limited, and like I said, with abundance, that's not our home state. So using muscle testing, I found that we can actually tap in and find where those blocks are that are keeping us stuck. And then using other healing systems, we can shift them and reprogram them so that they work for us to our benefit.
Wow, that's really interesting. So 18 different modalities, and I'm totally into giving people options, and because not everything works for everyone. So that's really, really interesting. How did you get started in this? Like what caused you to want to pursue this?
A lot of things. It was kind of a snowball effect. There were a lot of things that happened. I was a healer for I've been a healer for over 25 years. I started with therapeutic touch and then went on to reiki and reflexology. And I was a collector of healing modalities. This one actually has 8. There's 8. I might get to more healing modalities because there's so many out there, but right now there's 8 healing modalities that I use with Kinetic Divination. But with so many things that were kind of snowballing, and being a healer, I was a little surprised at some of the things. Like I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 36. I married my best friend in the world. We were best friends for 15 years, married him. It dissolved within 7 months.
Oh my goodness.
I got a job that I was working for the government. I'm in Canada, so I was working for the government of Canada. It was a beautiful experience and a beautiful program that I was working for, but I was bullied and publicly shamed pretty much daily.
Oh my goodness.
So I started asking, and when these bad things happen to us, we often go to why? Why is this happening? I'm a healer. Why did I attract, grow cancer? So why is the wrong question. It doesn't create. So I started asking better questions. I started asking what does this create for me? What else is available? What else is possible? And different answers started coming to me. One of the answers was this healing program. It just was a download into my head of, you can muscle test, you can do this, and that will lead you to this, and then that will lead you to this. And I went, whoa, okay. So the lack of available options and possibilities really led me to want more.
Okay, so I'm writing down a question because I wanna go into, just so I don't forget this question. I want to go into your first aha moment that you were a healer? Because I have a lot of friends right now that have a lot of gifts, and they're almost resisting their gifts or their
Mm.
purpose, or really stepping into that. So before we get into the muscle testing, I want to find out, what was your process of realizing I am a healer and fully stepping into that?
Goodness. I think the first one was during a class. I was taking a therapeutic touch class, and the teacher led us through a process of, because with therapeutic touch and with Reiki, we use different visualizations, one of them being color. So she
Mm,
led us through looking at yellow, green, and blue, and really feeling into what each of those colors means to each of us. And then we were partnered up with someone, and one of us would think of the color, and when we were ready, we'd nod, and our partner would touch our arm and just allow themselves to become this blank canvas,
mm,
and they would see the color that we were thinking of.
mm,
And when we did this, I was, probably around 20. I wasn't very young, but I was young enough to go, okay, well, hey, let's try it. And an amazing thing happened when I got the colors of the partner that I was working with. I got the first one, I got the second one, and then on the third one, she changed her mind. And I
mm,
saw that change in my mind.
wow.
And that to me went, whoa, there's something here. And that got me hooked.
Mm. Wow, that's really powerful. So, was there any resistance? Like, did you, I don't know, any resistance?
Well, there wasn't any resistance there. A few years later, there was resistance when I was working with another Reiki practitioner, and he was in the military, he was going overseas. And he said, I'd like you to send me distance energy. And I went, what do you mean? I can't do that. Me? Little old me? I can't do
Mm,
that.
mm,
And I tried. I don't know how effective it was. I didn't believe in myself. And one of the things that I use now in my healing system is called the 7 pillars of alignment. And the first pillar that needs to be in alignment for us to manifest and create our dream life is belief.
mhm,
So without me believing that I could do it, I probably didn't do a very good job. But now, with after this download happened with this healing system, I immediately knew that I could not only connect and send energy to people at a distance, but I can connect to people and muscle test for them.
mm.
So I can check in to see where their blocks are, no matter where they are in the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's
So,
really cool.
okay, so I know I just did an episode where she broke down Reiki. So for someone who has no idea what therapeutic touch is, how would you break it down in like really simple terms for people if they've never heard it to understand what it is?
Right. Well, therapeutic touch was the first healing modality that I learned, and it is very similar to Reiki. The only difference is Reiki, you have your hands on the person
Mm,
typically, and therapeutic touch, your hands are off. Even though
mm,
it's therapeutic touch, you don't actually touch the person. You're just outside of their body.
mm,
Um, Now that being said, especially with me using these healing modalities in kinetic divination, which is my healing modality or healing system, you don't need to be touching, you don't need to be near the person you're sending energy to.
mm,
Reiki energy or the source energy is all around us and
mhm,
does not follow the guidelines that we have in our mundane physical universe of time and space. So
mm,
energy can go anywhere, just like if you know anything about quantum entanglement, which is the one of the coolest aspects of quantum physics.
mm,
It's when particles that were free floating, spinning at their own frequency, become in contact, communicate with each other, start spinning at the same frequency, and no matter how far apart they are put, they still communicate and spin at the same frequency. And if something happens, if the stimulus happens to one, the other one reacts as if it happened to them, to it. So that's what quantum entanglement is. And that's the beauty of the availability and the potentiality of energy.
Wow. So intriguing.
Yeah.
So intriguing. So what are the 7 pillars? I'm curious.
Yeah. So if we're trying to manifest something and we are not seeing anything budge, if we're not seeing anything move in our reality, then one of these 7 pillars is off. We need these 7 pillars in alignment as the foundation to manifest from, create and actualize from. So the first one we talked about is belief. We need to believe that even it's possible, or that we are worthy, which is one of the other 7 pillars, but their belief has to be there. So belief, then confidence. We need to feel confident in doing this, having this, being this, whatever it is. Third one is safety. We need to feel that we're in a place of safety, especially if we're manifesting money. Money is not a material thing. It's actually an energy, and that energy will only come to you if you are safe, if you feel safe. Trust is another one. You need to trust in yourself. You need to trust in or have faith of something higher than you. The 5th one is worthiness. You need to feel like you are worthy, like you have value. The next one is deserving. You need to feel like you deserve that thing that you are creating. And the last one is allowing. You have to allow yourself to receive.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So who created this? Is this one of your works?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. So do you have like an infographic of this that I can
do.
you have to send it to me.
I have a free PDF I'll send you.
Awesome. So I can put a little diagram for anyone who's watching. And if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or iHeartRadio, I encourage you to check out the video so you can see the infographic. I'm really excited. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
Let's dive into the muscle test. So explain that a little bit more.
Okay. So if you love the 7 pillars, you will love muscle testing. I fell in love with muscle testing years and years and years ago, but I was not able to accurately muscle test myself. And I didn't know why. Years later, after the cancer diagnosis, after the divorce, after the bullying of the job, I found Dr. David Hawkins and his work. He wrote a book. He wrote many books, but one of them was called Power versus Force. In it, he talks about the map of consciousness. And he says that to be able to muscle test ourselves accurately and with clarity, we need to be at the energetic megahertz of 200 or above. And these correlate with emotions or energy. So the energetic component is megahertz, but there's also courage is also the energetic or emotional component of the 200 megahertz. But this map of consciousness starts at 20 and goes to 1,000. Cancer grows at 42 megahertz.
Interesting.
Sickness, flu, sickness, all of those would be about 50 to 60 megahertz. Now, if you are shame is the lowest frequency, shame, and then guilt is above that. If you're sitting in shame or guilt, those are 20 and 30 megahertz. I was sitting in shame for decades. And that's what I believe is what triggered the cancer growth. Because I was at such a low frequency. And that's another reason why this work is so important to me, is to tell other people we need to raise our resonance up, and it's not as difficult as people think. So the map of consciousness and the energetic resonance is one of the first things that I talk about when I'm talking to people, is checking with your baseline resonance. My baseline resonance was shame. I wrote the book Kinetic Divination after the download of this healing system. And this book, I'm actually rewriting it right now because the system expanded. Like the 7 pillars is something relatively new that I saw when working with all of these clients. But when you learn how to muscle test, you learn how to communicate with the wisdom of your body.
Mm.
So muscle testing was developed in 1964, 65 by George Goodhart. He was a chiropractor. And he realized that the body and the muscles responded to positive or negative stimulus.
Mm.
And we can test that by ourselves. First, I would advise you, I'd like you to test it with a partner, so you can actually, if you're physically able to put your arm out to the side at shoulder height, your partner is going to just press down lightly with 1 or 2 fingers to test the resistance of your arm. That's your resistance test. And then you say yes, and your partner presses down, and then you say no, and your partner presses down. Your body loses strength on no. Your
Mm.
body can't lie. So even when I didn't know that I actually had cancer, when I was going to have the first test, I was going for an ultrasound, a friend of mine drove me, and we went and had coffee before, and I sat there, and he's like, you don't have cancer. Like, you can't have cancer. And I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have cancer. And immediately when those words came out of my mouth, I went, ooh, I felt like I was just lying to myself.
Mm.
We know when we're lying.
Mm.
Our body can't lie. So testing with a partner to check in with the yes or no response of your body. You then say, I'm at the energetic resonance of 200 or above. And your partner tests your arm to see if you're strong or weak.
Mm.
That tells you if you can test yourself. There's a few ways you can muscle test yourself. One is to put your hand right on your chest above your clavicle.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to lift one finger, usually the index finger, up. And you want to test the strength. So you don't let the finger fall. And then you say what is yes, and you test your strength. And then you say no, and you test your strength. And see how
Interesting.
much weaker your finger is just by that little. Yeah.
Oh.
So your body can't lie. So I used this and I went, okay, so your body can't lie. We can not only tap into, and applied kinesiology is another way to say muscle testing. Applied kinesiology not only tests our body, but it tests our mind, our conscious and subconscious mind. And it can also give us answers about our energy. Because we are this multidimensional being, we have all of these things entangled. So this is the way that we can best communicate with our body and check in and see what is, if we're not seeing those manifestations appear, if we don't feel like we are worthy of deserving or attracting a mate or earning that income, then we can use muscle testing to tap in and see what is actually blocking us and where it's sitting in the body. So kinetic divination is comprised of 3 components. I use a triangle to dictate that. But the first one is the muscle testing. And that's only the first component of kinetic divination. The next one goes into the body sync. Because working with my clients, I've noticed that, and time after time, when we would try to shift into alignment with our goals and desires and feel worthy of them and feel like they're easy, because if you can manifest, if you can go on a walk right now and manifest and see a penny on the street or a quarter or a dime, and if you think how easy that is, you're manifesting that. The universe doesn't say, oh, okay, well, a dime's this big and $10,000 is this big. The universe has no thought process around that. There's no limitations, there's no resistance. So it should be as easy to manifest 10,000 as it is to manifest a penny or a dime or a nickel.
I love it.
Abundance Box is more than a subscription box. It's a movement. Not only are you sent spiritual goodies to your doorstep, it's a commitment to yourself to not settle, to live to your full potential and manifest the life that you truly desire. For more information, go to abundancehack.com/box to receive crystals, sage, therapeutic grade essential oils, guided meditations, and access to the private Facebook group to connect with other awesome members of the Abundance Box tribe. Join the movement because life is meant to be abundant.
So it's us getting in the way. It's our beliefs. It's our belief system, our limiting belief. So we can test in the body to see where that's stuck. And if we shift into alignment with, oh, that is easy, and it feels like it's stuck somewhere in the body, those mean something different. And we talked about the 7 pillars of alignment. There's also 7 shadow aspects within the body. And looking into like Reiki and therapeutic touch works with chakra system. And the chakra system, we have the 7 major chakras, and there are shadow aspects that are kind of entangled within each chakra. So if you think of something that you want to manifest or create in your life, and you try to, if you even thought of a dial, like a radio dial, and if you thought of creating, I work with a lot of high-end coaches, so they're trying to get to the 20-30K a month. So if they thought of, if they're not at 20K a month, and they thought of this dial, and I say to them, okay, think of the number of belief that you're at right now, or alignment that you're at right now, and they'll say maybe like a 2. So I want you to turn up the dial to closer to 10 to be more aligned with it. There's a greater chance of it coming to you, greater belief, greater confidence. And if they can get to maybe 3 or 4 and then it gets stuck, that stuckness will relay a block or shadow aspect within the body, and they'll actually feel it somewhere. And these 7 shadow aspects are, every single time, they're the same. So if I say, where is that stuck in the body? And they say, in my heart or in my chest, I'll say, is that unworthiness? And 9 out of 10 times, because the heart can be grief as well. But these shadow aspects are the same across the board.
Wow.
If you have a tightness in your upper stomach, that's usually shame.
Can I tell you where I wear all my stress?
Sure.
I'm a little scared to say it on camera because I don't know what it's gonna be, but like in my shoulders. So like usually anytime I feel stress, it's all in here. Like
that's how I remember this is called the Trapezius, because it traps all the stress, right? That's me too. So is there a fear of criticism?
Oh my goodness, I could totally see that. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah, so if there's a history of criticism or fear of criticism, that's where that's the shadow aspect of the throat chakra.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. You are brilliant. Like I am freaking loving this, because I think that like on the surface, like I don't care what anyone thinks, but like deep rooted, because I know like my mom, I felt like was very critical, and so I feel like I am working through a lot of that right now, because my mom was not the mom, and I love my mom, so not saying anything bad about her, but she wasn't the mom that's like, oh my goodness, you're beautiful, you're amazing, like good job, I'm proud of you. She was the one who was like, this was wrong, you could have did better, you should have did this.
Yeah.
So
she was the coach.
So I'm super hard on myself. So it's not like, the fear of criticism just now like general public, but it's just that deep rooted little girl that was like always like, being criticized. And I understand she was pushing me to be better, but still it's something that I've had to work through. So yeah.
Do you want to work on some stuff right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
So a lot of times we will, and that's, thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And that's important to share, because so many of us have that. So many of us have had parents who were not the loving caregivers, supportive parents. They were the coach. They were, you go after it, you do better next time. This is what you did wrong, so that you can learn, you can change it, and you can kick it out of the park next time, right? Yes. So a lot of times when we feel into that, and we feel into our goal, or when we feel into that criticism, history of criticism, fear of criticism, or whatever, what we can do is we can actually ask ourselves, what percentage of feeling is that? How strong does that feel? So we want to give it, this is another reason why I love my system so much, but I do. I'm just so brilliant. But no, I do love this, because I'm woo all the way. I'm totally 100% woo, but I'm also 100% science. Like, give me the facts, give me the percentages, give me something that I can see it shift and change. And this is what this does. So when we can muscle test into the percentage of belief or fear, or even the strength of that criticism, and feel into that percentage, then we can shift it and we can actually see the change immediately. And that's what's lovely about this, because I'm all about instant results, instant gratification. Give me the goods right now. I don't want to go to a Reiki practitioner for 6 months to see a change or see difference. I want to see these charts, muscle test, shift, and see it right now. So if you had to give a percentage of that fear of criticism, what would that percentage be?
Oh man, I'm on a scale of like 1 to 10. I think day to day it changes.
Yes.
Like when I'm just like feeling myself and I'm like, I don't care, like it's probably very low. But I think on a day where, you know, maybe things are not going as well as I feel they should be, it's a little higher, maybe like a 6, sometimes maybe even an 8.
Okay. If you felt into that 8 right now, if you felt into an experience where that 8 would happen, can you tap in and tune into that right now? An experience where you would feel the 8.
Yeah, I know anytime I'm stressed is always like the tightness, like all up in here, and I just feel tense. Like, but and I think that that's like why people tend to like walk around like this all the time, because they're so tense there. Yeah, and like so now the more I'm thinking about it now, like I even feel the coming on.
2 things. Whenever we are tapping into these emotions, we want to, one, give it space. So we don't want to sit into the emotion. We just want to come back from it and look at it, observe it. So that's one thing. The second thing is our emotions, our emotions, our feedback. That's all they are. So if we saw the emotions as feedback, then they lose the big grandiose scariness of them. The other thing is when we're feeling into that emotion and the tightness and the reaction that we're having, we need to ask, is that mine? Because often, especially when we're kids and we see our mom or our dad reacting to something, and it's a heavy reaction and it weighs them down and they become sad or depressed or angry or whatever, we go, I love you so much, I want to take that from you. So we take some of the stuff that our loved ones are dealing with, and sometimes we take it as a young child, 2-3 years old, and we hold it for them for the rest of our lives. And it's time to give it back. So when we say that we're going to give the stuff back to the people that it belongs to, I often have clients who say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to hold this for someone else. Well, that's not our job. Our job is to heal our own stuff. They have the job. That's their task. That's their lesson. And they won't be able to learn that lesson. Maybe that's a soul lesson, and that might be part of why they're here in this life. So if we're taking that from them, we're robbing them of that chance to learn that lesson. So we have to give the stuff back. So whenever I feel something, I always say, if this isn't mine, I release it. I return it to origin with consciousness attached. And if you instantly become lighter, then that wasn't yours. And now it might not all go away, because oftentimes if we see things on a regular basis again and again, that's an imprinted belief. So we'll own that belief, as well as taking some of it from somebody else, but we'll own it ourselves. So we'll take it on. So we still have to shift that part. So you can think of a dial and dialing it down, but it may have gone from an 8 to maybe a 4 or a 3. And then it's more you can deal with it at 3. 8 is a little bit debilitating, but a 3 isn't so bad. But then think of a dial and just dial it down, decrease it.
So powerful. So powerful. I love that. So for someone who is trying to raise their vibration, so if they're in that low space, what are some ways that you encourage people to raise their vibrations?
Yeah. So one is gratitude work. Being thankful for what you have around you. I love Dr. Joe Vitale. I love a lot of his work. He talks all the time about being homeless in Texas, and like, I'm in Canada, man, you can't be homeless up here. But he had a pencil, and he was grateful for that pencil, and he put so much gratitude into that pencil. It, you know, his subconscious, the universe, God, whatever you want to say, brought him more things to be grateful for. And that's a beautiful story of what's possible for that within gratitude. Another thing is I have another PDF called Shift from Fear. It's a workbook. It's a toolkit. And if you can check in with your baseline, if you know what your kind of home frequency is, your home vibe. So if you get angry a lot, or if any reaction makes you feel guilty or ashamed, or if you feel jealous, or if you feel willing, or if you feel loved, these are all signs of, like I talked about the map of consciousness before, these are all signs of what your baseline frequency is, and that's important to know. So if you know what your baseline frequency is, or if you're even triggered by something and you go to either fear or jealousy or frustration or shame, then you can think of something better. Now, the map of consciousness, or I have a chart that's called the energetic resonance chart that I use to muscle test. When you're looking at a chart like this, and anybody can email me for this, you can follow me on Facebook. I post all of my stuff because I want to empower people. I don't want to keep things hidden. When you know what those resonances are, you can choose the next one. So if you don't want to come from a place of fear or anger or frustration or lack, then you can choose the next one. So maybe think of courage. And goals are being really clear and specific about your goals is the one thing that will allow you to raise your resonance. Because if you think of a goal and it's a little scary, that's really good. That's a good goal. But you want to raise your resonance up so that you can feel courage to go after that goal. And then after that would be willingness. Are you willing to see that it's possible, to feel that it's possible? Can you go to a state of acceptance of, this is acceptable for me to have this goal? And then maybe love, feeling that you have the goal, and filling that energy with love and gratitude for having that. And you begin to raise your resonance up, and it might take a few minutes the first time you do it, but then it becomes habit. So whenever you are reacting from something, you can go, oh, okay, so I'm reacting from fear. All right, what's better? What else can I choose that feels better? And you follow the joy.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I love it so much. You're like my new favorite person. Like I'm just like hanging on to every word. So, okay, I could talk to you forever, but I know we don't have a lot of time. So what are your top 3 tips for living an abundant life?
Yeah, so I actually wrote them down. We were just talking about checking your baseline. And one of my top tips is checking with your baseline. It's so important to know what your baseline is, what your home frequency is, so that you can choose something different. Know where you are so that you know where to go. The next one would be remembering that your emotions are feedback. They're not something to sit in for days or months or decades. Your emotions are only feedback. We need to learn from them. They're our guidance system. And the third one is remembering that you get to choose to create with ease.
I love that. I love that. So how can we elaborate on that last one? How do you create with ease? Because I think that sometimes people get stuck in like, this manifestation has to be like all these different things, and I have to do this and this and this and this and this. So like, how expands on that?
Yeah. So when we were born into this beautiful body that we have, we were an infinite being. We didn't have any limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
We're still that infinite being. We just have these layers of stuff over top. So the I have to's, or the I shoulds, or these I can'ts, or it has to be hard, or I have to work hard for money. All of these limiting beliefs that pile on top of this infinite bright light that we are. That infinite bright light is a creator. We are the bridge between heaven and earth. We are it. We are what the earth and the heaven uses to create. We're the creator within our lives. So of course, our natural state would be to create with ease. It's just getting out of our own way. And if we, I have something called the Expansion Project, and it's teaching people how to expand their energy out and pull energy in so that they can charge their desires with less resistance, with less of that stuff getting in the way.
I love it. So where can people find you online? I know you mentioned about 3 different tools, and I will get the links from you and post them all in the show notes. But if someone just wanted to follow your page, where can they find you?
I hang out mostly on Facebook. I'm sometimes on IG, on Instagram, but Facebook and IG are pretty much my go-tos. I'm starting to build my YouTube. I have a little bit on there. But I really want to, if anybody has any ideas of what was useful for them, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear feedback and what people need so that I can create content on YouTube that is useful, not just me sitting there talking about my cats.
So wait, go ahead and say your Facebook page. Is it just your name?
It's Jillian Schleger. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to spell that out if someone's listening so they can?
Yeah. So Jillian is Jillian, and I think there's a dot there, and then Schleger is Schleger. And we were talking before about remembering Goldschlager, and my last name is Schleger.
Yeah, so I will definitely have it in the show notes. But I now that you've mentioned Goldschlager, I have to tell this story really, really quick. So my mom used to drink Goldschlager, and since a kid, I've been like infatuated with like business and abundance and making money. And I had this brilliant idea that I was going to take the gold pieces out of the alcohol. So I tried to, like, when my mom wasn't home or wasn't looking or whatever, I tried to like filter the gold pieces out, not knowing that they would disintegrate. So that's my memory of Goldschlager. So anytime someone brings it up, that's what I think about.
That's awesome.
But it's so silly. Like I was so silly as a kid, but yeah, that's my memory of Goldschlager. But thank you so much for coming on. This has been absolutely amazing. And I do encourage people to provide feedback, because I love to have her back for, a follow-up where we can dive deeper into one of these different modalities, because I just feel like you have so much knowledge, and, I still have like questions that I want to ask to dive deeper into some of these things. So definitely, if anything sparked an interest, if you want her to elaborate on anything, definitely let us know so we can have her back. And thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, M&Ms, until next time, love and light.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.